Let's party.
And we are live. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Party Loaded podcast. This is episode 200. We're live. Welcome to the show. So we're doing it full face cam for the first time ever. So if you're an audio listener, then you might want to, after the show, check out the video version. But in the meantime, hello. My name is Luke Ritalik, and joining me tonight we have the awesome foursome. We have Christian Paulson Brown, we have Matt the Game Dad Diet, and we have Adrian Chia. I got all the directions right, I think.
Yes. As I said earlier, four-dimensional Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Like, we're all in different directions on each of our screens.
The most Brady of the bunch. Who's Marsha? That's what we have to decide.
Marsha. I have had my nose done, so maybe I could be Marsha.
Oh, okay. Did you get beaten by a ball? Is that what caused that to be needed?
I had life-saving surgery.
Oh, no.
Close enough.
Yeah, well, for anyone who's catching the show for the first time, welcome. So this whole sort of doing the show live thing is pretty new to us, but we've been wanting to do it for a little while, and it seemed like episode 200 is a pretty perfect time to start. So, what the hey. We'll see how we go tonight. Hopefully nothing breaks, and hopefully we bring you the same awesome show full of everything great in the world of video games that we always do. So, and we'll have all of the stuff up on the usual YouTubes and podcast services around the world as per normal anyway. So, yeah.
Look what we can do now.
Oh, gosh. Surprise kitty.
Welcome our special guest, Karma, to the podcast.
The number of viewers just skyrocketed.
Yeah. Did you say your cat's name is Carmen?
Karma.
Oh, Karma. Oh, that seems oddly appropriate.
I didn't name the cat.
Nice. All right, well, all right, so episode 200, of course, we've still got a regular show to do, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So I haven't been here for a few weeks, so yeah, I'm kind of missing chatting about games and stuff. I did catch the episode while I was gone, and congratulations on doing a great job, and screw you guys also. So in equal amounts. Yeah.
You know we have to.
Hey, we were originally going to call ourselves the Cam Boys, and now look, here we are.
We are on cam.
Doing
Oddly real.
legitimate, family-friendly activities. Only.
Absolutely, yeah.
From above the waist.
According to the Twitch guidelines.
Absolutely. Those terms of service, yo. All right. I want to talk about some games. Who's got some games? Who wants to go first tonight? What do we got? So...
Go, Matt, go.
Go, Matt.
Go.
I'm going to go. Fine. Yeah, I've been playing Outer Worlds.
Cool.
And it's good. There you go. I talked about a game now.
How good? Show us with your hands.
Okay, so there's guns and there's spaceships.
Oh, good. Yep.
And there's capitalism.
Nice. Are we talking?
Sorry, no.
Are we talking
Capitalism.
Are we talking Tim Curry Red Alert kind of capitalism in space, or?
It's really, really funny. Like the game's wonderfully well written. One of my favorite. They've got like these warning signs in all the factories that factory workers are at, and they have like warnings on them.
Mm-hmm.
And like the warnings from a distance, they look like your typical factory worker warnings, like, be aware. And then you go over and you get closer to it, you read the fine print, and it's like, only you can project fourth quarter profits.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, the game's very much like this dystopian kind of capitalism, where these outer colonies that have been taken over by these capitalist organizations are kind of running things into the ground because all these workers don't have rights. They're kind of just forced to work these really shitty jobs. Some of the writing is like, if you have a sick day, you have to reimburse the company for the fact that you weren't at the office.
Oh.
So yeah, it's really great. It's great. As I said, capitalism. But yeah, it's brilliantly written. So when it first came out, there were a whole bunch of people saying the game is too short. I'm currently 48 hours in, and I've gotten halfway through the planets.
Okay.
So it's not too short. It's just a bunch of people that are rushing through the game. Yeah, it has some amazing mechanics that actually have me convinced that I'm going to play it a second time.
Oh, wow. Like,
So-
a lot of the interactions with people change considerably depending on what you do. Is that sort of setup?
There's that,
Mm.
but there's also the phobia system. So if you get hurt by something a certain number of times, you can take on board a phobia, which actually debuffs you whenever you're dealing with that thing. So my character has a phobia of heights because I've fallen from high places too many times.
Ah.
Does that mean I have a relationship phobia?
There may be one, actually. Like, if there was friendly fire in the game, that'd be amazing. Like, yes, your companions have shot you too many times. Now you're scared of companions.
Friendly fire phobia seems like it should be a default, but anyway.
But I want to replay it. So this time around, like, I'm just kind of playing it as I feel, you know, like making decisions based upon what seems kind of like the right thing to decide. But what I want to do is I want to play it a second time and play a terrified corporate shield. And basically every single time the game's like, hey, you have a new potential phobia. Do you want to take it? I'm going to be like, yes. And I would just be terrified of everything.
Nice.
You're basically trading. So you're like, you take a phobia, but you get a perk in return. So it kind of debuffs you, but it also potentially makes you more powerful. But yeah, so it's really, really good fun. I highly recommend it. It's very, very much in line with New Vegas. So if you enjoyed New Vegas, you'll enjoy this.
Is it pretty much a case of recent Fallout games, Bethesda eat your heart out kind of thing?
Yes, there's a lot of people online that are basically saying, "Hey, look, Obsidian's doing Bethesda better than Bethesda has been," and it's entirely accurate. Like, the game is very, very good. So yeah, thoroughly enjoying that at the moment.
It's included with Game Pass, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like whatever, it's like $5 or something at the moment, Australian, and then you just get it.
You can get Game Pass.
Yeah.
And you can get Outer Worlds, and you can get Fallout New Vegas for cheaper than the Fallout 76 premium thing.
Yeah, you can get a lot of things cheaper than that Fallout 76 premium thing.
Yep.
Fallout first. Yeah, Adrian knows what we're talking about. Oh, good Lord. It's, yeah. As much as I don't want to, I kind of also want to talk about Fallout 76 tonight, but no, we'll leave that. That's kind of done. We've been talking about that train wreck for a solid year. I think we probably have to move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, please put a bullet in it. Several.
Say nup to the Fallout Cup.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, could lay some punches into it. I hear that you've been doing some skilling up in the fighting games, Christian. What's going on with that?
Yes. So, like, a number of episodes ago, quite a few now, we had a chat about like gaming regrets, or like things we wish we'd played or done when we were younger. And I talked about fighting games and how I've always like admired fighting games from afar, but never really like got into them. But I've always wanted to, and now I finally have made the commitment to properly play and learn Street Fighter V on PS4. So I picked up an arcade stick for my birthday recently, and Adrian has also joined me in this endeavor. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been bashing out some Street Fighter, and yeah, it's really good. It's a fighting game. The reason I chose Street Fighter is because it's one of the core, quintessential fighting games. You're either really going to choose Street Fighter or maybe Mortal Kombat for like a kind of not too crazy, like, I don't want to play like straight into Dragon Ball Fighters maybe, or like Guilty Gear or something a bit more complex. So Street Fighter's nice and simple. Learning the fundamentals, learning just footsies and just practicing basic inputs and simple stuff like that, and trying to get the hang of it, and slowly getting better as I go, and a lot of time in training mode, but it's been really fun.
So Street Fighter V, it had some big problems on release, but it's been out for a while now. So I guess you're probably getting the slightly better, more polished version of the product at this point. So
yeah, definitely. Like the problems on release were like a lack of content. So there was no like story mode, or the training mode didn't have all of the features you'd expect from a training mode, and like a lot of that stuff. Even at the time, like reading the news, it wouldn't have bothered me in theory had I been playing it, because I'm not really into like an arcade mode or story mode. I just want to play like online. So they have padded it out with a lot more content, but the actual core fighting game that's in it is still good and has always been good. So it just didn't have the surrounding stuff.
Yeah, nice. So how are you finding it, Adrian? What's the...
Yeah, I mean, Chris and I went along to a little local tourney that was happening. What was it, like a couple of weeks ago? Just to check out local scene and see what it's like. And we were really, I felt we were really blown away by. Here's a fight stick. Christian's showing off
nice
what a fight stick looks like. So Christian got one for his birthday. I also got one for my birthday. So we've both got one now. And
the same one?
We ordered. Yeah, the same one. Although Christian, you can see Christian's replaced the buttons, so here's a white.
So normally they're red, but one of the cool things about fight sticks is there's a whole like modding scene behind them. So this one, I've replaced these buttons with like a higher quality button, and I'm going to be replacing the joystick too. And we've also, Adrian and I both ordered custom artwork to go underneath the glass plate.
Sick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite fun. I like the idea of sort of having your identity on your fight stick. That sounds quite good. And yeah, when we went along to this local tourney, it was in just opposite Carousel Shopping Centre in Perth. There's like a little
little LAN cafe.
Yeah, a little LAN cafe, and they were having an event, like a Halloween tournament, on the day that we went along and had a look. And yeah, there were quite a few people there, and we spotted these guys in Street Fighter jerseys. Not like soccer jerseys, and they had like their name across the back, like their code name, and then like a big picture of their main character. And we were like, that's cool. Like, we want to get to the level where we feel we're allowed to wear one of those.
You want to be uniformed nerds.
Yeah. It turns out that they're not part of any sort of official team. They didn't have to earn the jerseys per se. They just got in contact with a guy in the local Perth community who makes them. And they all kind of wear one. But we felt we didn't really want to do that until we know the basic, or like I feel that we're qualified to wear something like that, because we're both like total scrubs. So
it's like bikie gang sort of format. You're both prospects at the moment. You need to earn your patch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was fun. But the cool thing that I found about that is that the guys that we spoke to in those jerseys were so nice. Like, they were awesome, and like we were chatting to them, and they like made us feel really welcome, and they asked us to come back, and they were helping us out with a lot of like the basic stuff that we didn't know a lot about. So they were like clarifying terminology and really sort of doing a really good job of like easing new people into their community. So kudos to them. That was really enjoyable, and certainly makes me want to go back and kind of be involved more with that group. So, but most of my experience has been playing online when I should be studying for exams. Instead, I've spent like quite an obscene amount of time playing matches online. Yesterday I hit 100 online matches.
Jeez.
So, and I've done at least 30 more since then. So,
and each match is what, like 10 minutes at least?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, about that. 10. It depends how long you go for. 10 to 15 minutes, I suppose.
So when you get
money to be made in being professional as a fighting game player than studying. So
I stand to make more money as a fighting game pro than a linguist. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
when you get matched online with somebody, it's automatically a best of 3, which I like. So it's not just like one like 2 rounds and then you're done. It's actually like three matches, which is cool.
Yeah. So like a match has 2 rounds in it. So like you have like best of 2 in one match, and then best of 2 matches for a total sort of experience where you fight someone online.
Most people will be familiar with like the round 1 fight, round 2 fight, or like final round. It's like and there's 3 sets of that.
But yeah, so far so good. Connection issues are pretty good actually. Like I haven't had I did LAN up my PS4.
Me too.
And Christian and I did have a little bit of an issue early on, but with Christian's internet provider, but he cleared that up. Turns out there was actually a request. He had a specific request he had to make to his internet provider to turn off.
So PSA to anybody with Aussie broadband, they use a specific type of IP address sharing technology called CGNAT.
Yeah, I know about this. Yeah.
Where because of the shortage of IPv4 addresses, they basically share one IPv4 address with like multiple people, and it means that if you're playing like a peer-to-peer hosted game, it just fucks with the connection. If you're playing like a game with a dedicated server that you're connecting to, that's fine. But if you're having to host or like do peer-to-peer, then it messes it up. But Aussie Broadband are cool, and you can just call them straight up and ask them to turn it off, and then they just do it. So it's fine.
Yeah.
So apart from that little hiccup, online play's been pretty good. And when you go into like an online match, you can set what level of connection you're willing to accept from an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want, you can just set it at like it's 2 to 5, and you can just set it at 5, and it will only match you with really good connections. It just means you may end up waiting a lot longer to fight an opponent. And
good number of people though.
Yeah. Mostly you're playing against people in Japan. Like it matches mostly with Australia and Japan. And a bunch of flags I don't recognize.
All straight up killers, or are they?
It's got a similar system to Hearthstone where it's ranked.
Or Overwatch, because it's like silver, bronze, blah blah blah.
True, yeah. So you can play an online match where it's just a casual match, or you can play a ranked match where it's just like Overwatch, where you get like league points, and for a win you earn a certain number of points, and for a loss you lose points, and you go up through the ranks. There's an obscene number of ranks though. It's like it's rookie, then bronze, 3 levels of bronze, 3 levels of silver, 3 levels of gold, 3 levels of diamond, 3 levels of platinum, 3 levels of grandmaster, and then like it's huge. It's a huge ladder.
And it finishes with warlord.
Nice.
And I'm stuck in bronze hell. Like I've just been milling around in bronze and never gotten really anywhere beyond that. So
that's expected for now.
Early days.
Yeah.
But yeah, good fun. Yeah. I know we've had a couple of listeners reach out on Twitter saying maybe they'd be interested. So if anyone wants to get involved with Party Loaded, I'm sure Christian and I would be happy to, have a chat about some of the basics.
We can start a dojo. They have like a clan system. Dojos.
Yep. That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Anything else, guys? What else?
Yeah. I wanted to quickly talk about Ring Fit Adventure as well.
Oh, awesome. I want to hear about this. Is it the real deal is what I want to know.
It is. Like I'm not a guy who is known for my vigorous exercise routine. So I was pretty much starting from square one with the exercise thing. And it's really given me a workout though. I'll actually just quickly show what it comes with.
Do a workout right now.
So this is the Ring-Con. So you slide one of the thingy-majiggies onto here. And then it's like a resistive band, basically, so you can just pull and push. And a lot of the time, though, you're not pulling or pushing. You're just like rotating it, or you can like put it between your thighs and thigh presses with it. And it just basically it uses this to track the position of one of your arms a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Serious question. How many times you've put it around your neck?
None, actually, 0.
Oh, okay. So I take it there's no move where you get to hula hoop that sucker then.
No. And then this is the leg strap. So you just strap this around your upper thigh.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you can just track the movement of one of your legs. And so some of the exercises you don't use the Ring-Con at all. It's just the leg strap.
Serious question. Really, actually, serious this time.
Yeah.
How many times you put that around your head?
0. But the actual game, right? So it has like an adventure mode that is like a pretty simple RPG, where there's like a Super Mario World-esque map that you kind of move between like levels like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, etc. And then on each level you jog on the spot to actually move through the world, and then there'll be like an enemy in your path that you randomly encounter as a battle. And then during the battle, you pick different like exercises to inflict damage. So like squats or like warrior pose or overhead press. So there's like dozens of exercises that you choose from, and they'll each like target like a different number of enemies, do a different amount of damage, take a different number of turns to recharge. And they're color coded as well. So if you attack a monster with the same color as the attack, that does extra damage. There's a whole item system in the game. You get all ingredients and you make smoothies to give like buffs to certain moves or to like recharge your health. There's boss fights. There's like shops, and you spend your like coins to get new like clothes that boost your attack and defense.
Hold up. Did you say smoothies?
Smoothies, yeah.
So you're exercising and already thinking about food partway through the activity.
It's like spinach smoothie or like
spinach smoothie.
One of them's like apple and onion soup. I'm like, that sounds weird.
The fuck?
So literally the opposite of making you think about food.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Yeah,
but it is good. And then because the exercises are like sectioned off into these little worlds, you can choose when to stop quite nicely. So you'll just play through like a certain number of worlds, and there are like mini game gyms as well that just have like mini games in them. And so that actual Ring Fit adventure is really fun. And then outside of that too, if you're not interested in the RPG, you can just choose to do specific sets of exercises that focus on different areas. So you can just do like an abdominal set or a leg set or cardio or yoga. And then so it has a more kind of basic, like a Wii Fit style thing where it's just exercises.
Christian, one of our watchers, Crimson Dragoon, has said that the tree pose is a great breather. Do you want to expand on what that actually means?
The tree pose is so in Ring Fit Adventure, when you're running along the track, sometimes there'll be like bees in the trees.
bees,
or like a certain kind of bee. And then you have to stop in the road and do a tree pose so that it's like you're hiding from the bees.
but bees like trees.
That's true actually. So write a letter to Nintendo.
It's actually like the whole T posing meme where like you're scaring them off, like exerting your dominance on the bees.
The tree pose is like one leg like this, and then like that sort of thing.
I don't. Can you?
People that
I don't understand.
People that are listening, that are not watching the video, are like, "What the hell?"
Just picture a tree.
I think they get it.
Exactly like a tree. Just like it's spot on.
Christian literally turned into a tree before I realized.
Maybe a birch or like
morphed into a tree. Mm-hmm. Christian's actually an anamorph, but for plants.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we'll leave that one there.
Actually, last question.
Yep.
Do you feel it's having an effect? Do you feel it's helping?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where at the same time that I'm doing this, I'm also eating a lot healthier too. Like my fiance and I are both going through like a health kick. She was the one who actually bought me this for my birthday at kind of my request. So she wasn't like, get fit. But so we've been going through together, and a combination of eating healthy and moving more has left me feeling got a lot more energy, waking up with a lot clearer head every day. And I do feel a lot better, but it'd be a combination of the diet and exercise. So
let's do the sums here. We've got Ring Fit Adventure. You've got your fighting games, which actually require a bit of physical movement when you're
this.
Sure. And I assume you're still going to be playing Beat Saber on the odd occasion. So those things combined, you could end up pretty ripped before too long if you play your cards right. So
I won't even fit in the frame soon. I'll be too swole.
You'll have to podcast sideways.
That's what it's all leading up to. I don't know if maybe our wires were crossed, but that's the whole reason I'm doing this is to actually beat the shit out of you.
You did that already.
All right,
make Cyberpunk 2077 Ring compatible.
Oh,
and I'll play the shit out of that.
How would that
I do
even
sometimes.
work?
The one thing I like pretend to do with the ring is I pretend to throw it like Captain America's shield sometimes. So that's
you actually throw it though.
No, I just like whatcha, like that's
cool.
it. Is that cool?
That's cool. Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
I can think of things that were less cool, but yeah, sure.
Really cool.
I'll tell you what else is really cool. On the general theme of health and wholesome activities with video games, I've been playing something that's actually got me outside quite a bit in the last week, which is the new Minecraft Earth. So,
is that out?
Yeah, it's out in beta, so you can actually download it and play it now. You don't have to be part of a special invite group. So, but yeah, no, I've been playing a bunch of that. Jam has been playing as well, so we've been sort of chatting a little bit about that during the week. Yeah, you can find it. But it's interesting. I'll do some sort of basic comparisons to the Pokemon Go model because it's obviously a similar kind of game where you're sort of, exploring the real world in a digital sense, and there's augmented reality kind of aspects to it. But generally speaking, there's two main ways to play the game. One is you're sort of walking around in the overworld where you sort of navigate the map.
Is that the real world?
It's not. Actually, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because that's one of the big differences between this and Pokemon Go. So when you play Pokemon Go, when you're walking around on the map actually very closely resembles the real sort of map of your surroundings. Like if you're in a city, you can recognize main streets and different landmarks and that sort of stuff. But with Minecraft Earth, it's actually quite a bit different because it's all sort of blockified, so it's a lot harder to sort of see where you're going. Sometimes you can see main roads, but apart from that, a bit of it requires some interpretation. Like you can quite easily be wandering around in Minecraft Earth and totally have no idea where you are, even looking at the map, because it doesn't resemble something familiar. So, which is weird. But yeah, so you can basically wander around and collect resources in your general environment, which in the game they call tappables. So you can sort of literally tap on it when it's within your circle area of effect and sort of repeatedly tap it, and it gives you some resources. So you might tap on like a little grassy outcrop and that'll give you some dirt, a couple of flowers, and maybe some grass or something like that. And then you find like a rocky bit and it might give you some cobblestone and maybe a mushroom and stuff like that. But when the game gets really interesting is you actually find these things which are like little adventure zones. And when you jump into an adventure zone, you have to like go right up to it. But basically then it ports you into like an augmented reality version of the game, which is more like the stuff that you've seen in the trailers where you can kind of see yourself in it. And you can do it multiplayer with other people too if they happen to be in the proximity, so you can sort of see each other in the game. And that's where you can actually sort of see the adventure area projected in front of you on the real sort of landscape. Sort of similar to how Pokemon Go functioned when you did the Pokemon capturing sort of with the real camera on as opposed to just the backdrop that the game generates. So, but yeah, it's cool. And that's the way you can kind of dive into the adventure mode and gather different types of resources and, find treasure chests and kill creatures. And you actually do have a health bar, so you can be attacked and stuff as well. And you can put down your own build plates as well. So you can have like a custom build plate, which has different sort of biomes. So you could have like a snowy build plate or a grassy build plate or a mountainous one, and then you just build stuff up on that. But the build plates also enable you to get resources from them. So once you pay for the build plate, it's kind of like it's almost like a resource bank in a way. It's weird. So
the build plate you put down somewhere in real life.
Yeah, basically, and you build on it, and then you can project like a larger version of it as well, which allows you to walk inside it. It's cool. I'm actually digging it. I think it's a really well implemented Minecraft AR game. So
the actual building thing, you put down the build plate, and then you put blocks on it, right?
You can, or you can just dig the resources out of it. It's up to you.
But then do you have to actually go back to that physical location to dig the resources out of it?
No, you can't save it back into your device. So
you save it back into your device. So is there anything like permanent in the world that you leave out there?
Now, I actually don't know. I think there might be.
I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Everyone's building up Minecraft world outside.
The thing is, like, I haven't actually experimented too deep with this yet because there is an in-game currency called rubies, which you get from, like, generally collecting resources and completing quests. So there's, like, daily, weekly, sort of long-term quests similar to how Pokemon Go operates. And when you get rubies, you actually pay for the build plates with rubies. So you start off with only really basic ones available at, like, a low ruby cost. If you want to get the really sort of special ones, like in more exotic biomes, then you need to save up a bunch of rubies. So I've only had really basic stuff to begin with. So I haven't actually built anything that I'd be wanting to leave out there. But I actually do want to experiment with that because you're right. That was kind of one of the selling points. And I'm not sure if that's the case yet. It might be. So don't take, my word for it that it's not. So yeah. But yeah, you should check it out. It's free. And it doesn't seem like it's sort of hitting you over the head with the microtransactions either. It seems, pretty well implemented with the way they've done that, at least. So
sounds interesting, but it sounds like it's either missing or not as focused on the kind of core building out in the world aspect that I thought it was going to be.
It is in beta too, so wait and see. I don't know what the full release plan is. I think maybe in beta they've got certain countries that it's available to and not others, perhaps. But yeah, I mean for a beta, it seems pretty polished to me. So
cool.
That's a good sign.
Sounds
at least.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, that's a whole bunch of This Week in Gaming. So let's dive into some news. We've got probably one big thing to chat about this week that's happened, which is BlizzCon. So none of us went, obviously, because that's a whole other plane flight worth of trouble. But there was some interesting stuff that happened. So,
I couldn't bother.
Yeah. Well,
maybe next year.
I honestly didn't even realize BlizzCon was on until after I saw the gigantic tidal wave of news. So,
oh really? I'd actually been keeping an eye on it because I was very interested to see how the recent protest controversies sort of shook out.
I was counting down to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
BlizzCon. I was definitely interested in that part, but not interested in any of the announcements because I wasn't expecting them to actually announce anything massive. And they have, but I'll leave my comments for when we actually talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, did you guys catch the actual sort of open ceremony and the apology that J. Allen Brack, the Blizzard president, made?
I heard about it, but I didn't watch it. I heard it wasn't that. They didn't specifically mention China or Hong Kong once, apparently.
No, they didn't. So, I mean, the whole thing with this apology was that it was very safe. Like, he sort of got up on stage and did the puppy dog eyes and kind of looked pensive and serious. But, there was some very carefully sort of orchestrated moments for crowd reaction, like cheering or whatever to kind of, engage. And I think they're in a really tough spot at the moment. Like, they're between a rock and a hard place where, like, there's certain things they obviously can't say, but it's a matter of, is doing that kind of stuff more important than, the issue at hand, which a lot of people think it is. Yeah.
They can say whatever they want. It's just there's consequences that they don't want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is he an elf? Because his hair is like straight up the
It's like that Randall.
If he is an elf, he's an extremely big elf.
Like, his hair is like beautiful.
Aside from the very valid elf point, it is worth pointing out still, like,
valid and important.
It's a very important point. Like, Adrian's like entirely right as all. But the thing that I find interesting about all of this is, like, the people that are going to be going to BlizzCon are massive Blizzard fans, so of course they're going to applaud anything he has to say, right? And at this point, given what last year's BlizzCon was like, the people that are still paying to go to BlizzCon are like fans that are really big fans, right?
Yeah.
Or people that wanted to go there to be there for BlizzCon. So
well, there was a bit of that going on. There was some protests around outside the grounds.
Outside, so
of course
it wasn't like ticket holders, really.
Well, there was a couple of things. There was during the World of Warcraft Q&A panel. Yeah, there was one guy that got up and sort of did the whole. I don't know if he asked a question first, but he did the whole sort of free Hong Kong, battle of our time or whatever the line is that they're using at the moment, and then he kind of. He hopped off stage quickly, but they let him say it. They didn't tear the mic away from him. And there's a few other sort of, outcries during various segments. But it seemed like the protest stuff was pretty low-key compared to what a lot of people were expecting. So,
yeah.
Hoping.
I heard that's the next World of Warcraft expansion.
Battle for Hong Kong.
Battle for Hong Kong.
I don't know about that.
Finally, I'll be able to play as an Asian man in a video game.
Okay.
Finally.
Sure.
Instead of just living as one.
Yeah.
At last.
Speaking of video games.
All right.
They did announce a World of Warcraft expansion, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's called.
Yeah, you can be a fox man.
Can you really?
No.
Be a fox lady.
The fox man and fox the fox people thing is right now, like a patch is introduced.
Oh.
But the expansion is Shadowlands.
Is that the Volpera that we're talking about?
The Volpera, yeah. So they got introduced in a patch. But Shadowlands is basically. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about this because World of Warcraft is one of my games that I really love, and I don't play it anymore because loved should be the kind of key word here. It's one of the games I really loved, but Sylvanas has really kind of just become the writer's pet. Like, she's this character that they seem to just be using all the damn time. And so Shadowlands is basically, and this is not really spoilers because it's right there in the trailer, Sylvanas goes and defeats the current Lich King, and basically shatters the wall between our reality and the land of death, because she wants to destroy reality. She believes it's a pretty super emo. Oh my god, the faces that you're pulling is very hard to stay serious.
I'm a Sylvanas Windrunner from the game Hearthstone.
Oh yes, that card. Is it any good?
It is. She's 6 mana. She's a 5/5, and she has a death rattle that says take control of an enemy minion. Has good synergy with N'Zoth, the Corruptor. And also, but she's a Hall of Fame card that's temporarily been brought back to the standard format for a limited time.
And she got blue boobies.
Anyway,
she's a corpse, by the way.
We have 0 viewers now. Oh no.
But yeah, so the whole Shadowlands thing, like when I heard it, that's actually like a whole death realm themed expansion. That sounds awesome. And then I start watching the trailer, and it's like, oh, it looks just any other continent in World of Warcraft. It's nothing new. Okay, they completely lost interest. And also, Sylvanas is front and center in this story very clearly. Zero interest. So, yeah.
Yeah. She's definitely a love-hate relationship kind of character at the moment. I think that they definitely need to usher her towards some sort of conclusion because she can't keep being the centerpiece forever. But, yeah.
Again, so I actually keep up on World of Warcraft lore and everything like that for some stupid reason. I care about it. But the way that they ended the whole narrative with Battle for Azeroth and Sylvanas was just garbage. And it just felt like they didn't want to kill her off. They wanted her to continue to be their kind of super evil pet. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, she's been leading the Horde for such a long time. Players were told that they should care about her. And now it's like, oh, by the way, now she's a villain. And they're doing the exact same thing they've done before. So,
yeah.
It's stupid.
Pretty familiar. So, Christian, you mentioned Hearthstone. Let's talk about the big reveal for Hearthstone, because that was something that I don't think a lot of people expected. So
for the first time since Hearthstone was in beta, they're adding an entire new mode to Hearthstone. So they're adding a Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and it's basically an auto chess, an auto battler in card form. So very similar setup to TFT or auto chess. It's 8 players. You buy cards from a random pool each turn, and then put them on your board, and then you're randomly paired up with another player, and your 2 boards attack each other randomly, semi-randomly. And if anyone who's played another auto battler will know the rest of the rules and how it'll interact with the scaling through the early game to late game. And it's in beta at the moment. If you pre-purchase the new expansion, which is Descent of Dragons, then you get early access to the Battlegrounds. I've been watching a few streamers play it, and it seems fun for a change because Hearthstone hasn't had anything this dramatic since beta. And it has a ranked mode too, which I think is vitally important. If they brought this out and it didn't have any sort of competitive element to it, it would have just been basically treated as another tavern brawl and just forgotten about. But because it has a ranked mode, there's an incentive to keep playing it.
Just a funsy game, yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to play it when it's out. I'm not going to pre-order this expansion. It's going to be the first expansion for Hearthstone since I started playing that I'm not going to spend any money for. But yeah, I'll play it when it's free for everybody.
Yeah. Well, Christian and Adrian, and not so much Matt, but you guys sort of have been in the past big Overwatch fans. So let me ask you: does the Overwatch 2 news do anything for you?
Nope.
So
nothing
at all.
I've totally been an Overwatch fan.
Have you? I did not know that. Okay, cool. I take that back.
I literally
played the shit out of Overwatch.
Okay, I say this because I've played with those guys, but I haven't played with you. So
you haven't played with me.
No,
I played the shit out of Overwatch when it first came out, and when I say that, I mean like I probably have put in 300 hours with Overwatch from when it first came out.
Okay, that is reasonable. Yeah.
I remember messaging Christian after the announcement, and all it was Overwatch 2 blah. That was my sentiment, and it just looks crap. Like, it looks crap. It's just like
the gameplay or the cinematic trailer, or what looks crap to you?
What gameplay? It's just Overwatch gameplay.
Yeah, that's true.
The cinematic trailer looks good, but there's no story. There's no narrative. It's just
another cool action scene.
Yeah, it's just like Overwatch. We're getting the team back together. But
that's been the same concept since the very first cinematic. Getting the team together.
Somebody pointed out on Twitter, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Like Overwatch 1, we've got to get the Overwatch team back together. Overwatch 2, we finally have the team back together. Overwatch 3, we're on the way to our first mission. Overwatch 4, we're getting out of the plane.
That's the glacial speed that Overwatch is moving at.
Yeah.
The main problem with it is like calling it Overwatch 2 because it's just an expansion.
This is the thing that really interests me, because the thing that's confusing the heck out of me is that they've said that the way they're approaching it is that all of the new content in terms of the maps and the characters that they're adding to Overwatch 2 are also going to be made available in Overwatch 1, and that the two are going to be cross-compatible as far as playing against each other goes. Now,
it's an expansion.
To my mind, there's no other game that has been a proper sort of separate sequel that's ever approached that like that before. I mean, I'm sure there are out there, but I can't think of any.
It's like
not that I can think of.
Yeah.
What comes to mind is Fortnite 2. Isn't this what Fortnite did?
Well, that's clearly a season though. Like people haven't had to have a new game install or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
they haven't had to pay anything for it because it's Fortnite.
Yeah, it's another $60 purchase.
Is this a brand new game?
Yeah.
No. Well, to be clear, for anyone who hasn't actually heard, there's single player content in Overwatch 2. That's the core new stuff. Overwatch 2 is PvE, and that you're going to be able to level up your heroes, and there's skills to choose from, and there's like upgrades and everything. But that's exclusive to Overwatch 2. Overwatch 1 players aren't getting any of that. But for me personally, that PvE content still looks boring because I don't like the Overwatch lore. It's been disappointing since the start, and I have no faith that it's going to become interesting. And it looks like even the PvE takes place on like multiplayer maps or like modified version of the multiplayer maps. So it still feels like they're retrofitting PvE into the existing content.
Like, and I think the story stuff is the big issue, right? Like, because Overwatch has lore, but it's never had a narrative. And now
not inside the game, at least. It's all been outside of the game.
Well, it's been all outside of it. I mean, okay, look, Destiny did that.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Where all of the narrative was outside of the game, and it sucked. But like that's the only time you're ever going to hear me saying something about Destiny sucks. But Overwatch, like it has, like it's got an interesting lore, but how is any of it applicable to the game? And so it feels like, I need to see how the actual game plays. Like, if the strikes thing, so it's basically structured like Destiny Strikes, apparently. So you can play it single player, but you can also play it with friends to level up and play them together. If that's actually any good and it's actually cool narrative and cool stories, then I might actually get Overwatch 2. But
how often can you replay the same crappy?
Not much.
It's going to be like survival mode crap.
No, the thing is, they've had their Halloween events like in Overwatch where they had that one PvE mission, and there's they've done other events too where they've designed those missions with intense replayability in mind, and people have kind of gobbled that up and enjoyed it to a point. So
like they may have designed it
fun the first time you play them, and then it's just a horde mode. It's just waves.
Oh, look, I agree. It's not for me, but there's definitely people out there that like them. So
yeah. I think for me, it feels like a half measure. It feels like what we've talked about before. If they made like an open world Overwatch game, that would be the bomb.
Oh yeah,
but they need to make that 10 years from now, after putting 10 years of development into it, not give us Overwatch 2, which is just this like Frankenstein.
Well, I think the open world game is what Titan was before it became Overwatch, I think. So, yeah.
Imagine if Overwatch 2 had an XCOM overworld map and you were selecting missions and fighting stuff off to prevent. That would be fucking awesome, right? That would be amazing. But I don't think that's what we're getting. I think we're getting a half measure because they're freaking out at the moment.
Yeah, it's just going to be more of the crappy PvE stuff that's already in Overwatch 1, just sold to us separately. There'll be more of it. There'll be really shallow character customization, and that'll be it. And people will buy it expecting it to be more than what it is.
My final thought is that the thing that angers me the most is that the new design for Genji, he's wearing a hoodie that has a design of his own body on it. Because he's a robot man, right? So that's like me wearing a hoodie with my naked chest on it.
You can purchase that hoodie.
You don't have one of those?
But why would Genji, the robot man, wear a hoodie of his own skin?
Hang on. Robot? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Branding.
Yeah, okay. Are you talking about Genji or are you talking about Lucio? Because Genji's the ninja dude.
Genji's the ninja dude. He's a full head-to-toe ninja.
Yeah.
And he has metal plate.
I'm going to have to go back and look at this. I totally didn't see it the first time.
Yeah, he's wearing a hoodie that has the exact same armor pattern as his own body.
Like, you're thinking of Garfield.
Yes.
That hoodie is now available on the Blizzard store for $69.99.
That was my feeling. Like, literally, as soon as I saw it, I thought that.
As adults, we've come to this space where we finally realised that all of the cartoons that we enjoyed as kids, were just merchandising machines designed to sell toys to us, and now we're finally realising that a lot of video games are doing the exact same thing. So,
capitalism.
Yeah.
I bought so much Garfield stuff. Like crazy.
Oh man! All right, well, let's move on to another cool cinematic, which I think probably stole the show when they kicked off with it. So, Diablo 4, opening impressions of Diablo 4. Let's start with the cinematics. I think that was a cool bit of production on its own. So,
this is something I actually enjoy, and I think it looks really good because that cinematic was just like
the fucking closing of it was so
good.
Yeah, awesome.
Visuals were amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, really good, really good.
Like if they release this, because I wanted to get Diablo 3 on Switch because I've heard it's really good on Switch. If Diablo 4 is like out and then on PC and Switch, I will probably grab it up for Switch and play the hell out of it because it looks really good. Like just from the cutscene, it looks really good.
The cinematic gave me major Berserk vibes. If anyone's seen Berserk, just like the super creepy Lilith at the end. It's fantastic.
It took me it reminded me a hell of a lot of Diablo 2. Like it took me straight back to Diablo 2.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get to the gameplay footage, but I think the cinematic sets a really good tone. It has like a really it strikes that balance between this sort of weird, creepy elegance with like the villain revealed, where she's like really creepily beautiful, and like that kind of feeds into the grimness of like the vibe. Because all of the kind of art direction in Diablo 3, none of it was ever really creepy. It was just sort of almost Warcraftian.
The palette was a lot brighter. There was a lot more color involved for sure, which I actually didn't mind. But yeah,
and not only the color, the tone of it was way different as well. Like having played, like I mentioned before on the podcast, Diablo 3 is my most played video game ever, just through the sheer hours. I've put like 600 hours into Diablo 3.
Jesus,
and and like all through the game, the visuals are just they're cartoony almost. And Diablo 2, I think, was constrained by like the graphical limitations of the time it was released. So it looked darker. It was darker and dingier and more oppressive because you couldn't render as much detail and you couldn't put as much on the screen. So that simple kind of palette and that simple art style made it creepier. And I think they thought that they were making like a really dark gothic game when they went into Diablo 3. But now, having seen, this trailer and some of the gameplay footage, it definitely looks, like a visual successor to Diablo 2. To Diablo 2. So I think, I think it looks really good.
Did you think the gameplay footage was enough of a departure from Diablo 3?
Yeah, that's the one thing where I was okay, that looks like the same as Diablo 3.
I don't think they need to depart really.
No, that's true.
Much. I like the gameplay's never been the problem with Diablo 3.
No, Diablo 3, that's right, and because it's a brand new game, there will be new stuff. There'll be new, features, new gameplay mechanics, and whatever, and that'll be great. But I think you play Diablo. I mean, any game like that where it's so grindy and clicky, the visual stuff is what you're mainly focusing on anyway.
Yeah.
So.
How do we feel about the shared open world aspect of it?
What is it actually? You might want to elaborate, because then the listeners will get a taste as well. What does it mean as a player? What does it give us?
They haven't elaborated in great detail, but essentially the phrase shared open world was about all they've said. So you will be. I'm imagining something akin to Destiny, where it's not like an MMO where it's just full of players, but that each like realm that you go to might have like a chunk of players pulled into your same instance that you're sharing. And there might be like public events or that sort of thing.
I trust them to do that well enough, I think. And I don't think it's going to impact on the Diablo 3 experience a great deal, because didn't they mention there will be PvP areas, but only so PvP exists but only in those areas.
It seems very similar to what I mean, World of Warcraft, I guess, is a little bit like that now, where you've got kind of you can toggle PvP on and off. and you've got some of the team play zones and stuff, but it actually sounded a lot more like Destiny. And I know, Christian, you're not a big fan of that model for Diablo. I actually am. I think that could work fantastically well, and that's kind of what I was hoping
most
for.
people will. It's just there's yet to be a shared open world game that I've ever really enjoyed. Like it's just not a format of game that I really enjoy.
What about life? What about
That's a good point, because I don't enjoy the shared open world aspect of life. I enjoy the unshared private aspect of life.
You would solo the whole game if you could.
Yes.
I actually fall in between. I kind of agree with Christian. I think that Diablo is actually the wrong game for a shared open, because like for me, the whole thing with Diablo was this very personal experience, this experience with a small group of friends, because it's like it's you against hell, right? Whereas if it's a shared open world, well, why the fuck do they need me? Because there's hundreds of other people running around, right?
That's not a bad point. Like if they're going for a darker tone, how oppressed can you feel if there's like 50 other barbarians running around?
And the shared open world thing always worked for Destiny, because it was like, there's other Guardians and you're still getting fucked, but it was never meant to be a dark kind of environment that you were in Destiny. Whereas Diablo, I think it's supposed to be oppressive, but having a shared open world kind of flies in the face of that.
I do wonder whether they're going to give people the option or not, like whether they can turn it on or off.
I don't know.
They already said in an interview they will not be toggleable.
They did actually, I remember they said there'll be no solo version of it. Yeah.
Will gender and race be toggleable?
Maybe.
I don't like that callback.
To elaborate, for Diablo specifically as well, one of the things I always enjoyed was like customizing a character and getting like cool looking gear. And if it's like a shared open world, just on like a petty level, the idea of like just running around and seeing characters that look like way cooler than me and like have all the same powers as me and whatever, it feels like, similar to what you were saying, Matt, it diminishes my feeling of like immersion in the game, because I'm not special. Like I want to feel special. I want to be the cool looking hero and gradually look cooler as I go. I don't want to like step out into the open world and then see like dudes with angel wings running around. Like,
I wonder. That's an interesting point. I wonder if the art direction will impact on that, because with the isometric style and Diablo 3 has tons of like aesthetic options where you like there's heaps and heaps of different armors, heaps of different sort of costume style things you can add on. But that's because when your character is like this big on the screen, the wings need to be like this big to make it look, have an impact, and that detracts from the dark tone. So with this darker tone, I wonder if they can get across like enough of that cool armor style with like a darker, like more limited palette of like aesthetics.
And I'm also really worried that they're going to mess with the in-game economy again, like, because that was one of the worst things with Diablo 3 on launch, was the real money auction house, and the way they balanced drops meant it so that you didn't get many like legendary items through a single play, because they didn't want to overload the economy with too many duplicates. So it felt like unrewarding to play.
They have stated though, with the shared open world, one of their drivers behind that is because they want to make player trading a thing.
And that's shit. I hate player trading in Diablo. I don't want to trade anything. I want to.
I think there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that, because all of a sudden, then you've got this grey market that develops around the game, where you've got these sort of external parties that try and sell, using real money items in game to people who are willing to pay for it.
Last thing I want to do is go into like a trade chat in Diablo 4 and go like looking for this set and then just buy it all. Like I want to play content and get excited when I see that drop.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's entirely fair. All right, well, it's probably about time for us to kick into the main topic for tonight, and we're going to need a bit of time for this one, so we're all going to have to watch ourselves and be on the clock, because this could potentially take a while if not. But
I got no work tomorrow.
So this is a pretty big topic, and one that I've been really keen to do for quite some time, but it seems only fitting that for our 200th episode, we are going to chat about our top 10 all-time game lists. So... All right. So the idea being that we all have our own lists. These are not necessarily the top 10 best games of all time. These are our favorites. These are it's always going to be subjective. No one's ever going to agree on this stuff. And in fact, having seen a lot of the games that are on all of our lists, I can tell you there's not as much crossover as you might expect, which is good. So, yeah. But now, do we want to randomly determine who goes first, or do we want to pick, or what do we want to do?
Random.
Random. All right. One second. Talk amongst yourselves.
So Diablo 4, more like Diablo poor.
All right.
Good job, Christian. You really held the floor.
I have the right tool for this.
Seamless.
Our listeners
nice.
We have an oversized D4 from PAX.
Oh, nice.
So
What's it made of?
it's just foam. It's just like
It's foamy.
Oh.
Yeah.
a squishy foam. Yeah. So this is probably going to be the first time I've ever had cause to use this.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to point the camera at where I'm rolling it, and I'm not going to roll it on the desk.
Back 3.
You're just going to have to take my
Can I
word
be
for
3?
it. You can be 3. What do you want, Christian? What do you want, Matt? What number? Pick a number.
I take 1 because I'm number 1. So.
Sure.
I want 5.
Mm,
Give me 5.
Adrian, you can have PAX.
Aw.
Okay, that's the closest you're going to get to 5. Which means I take 2. So, all right, let's give this sucker a roll. We have, first up, we got number 1.
That would have been the perfect opportunity
It's
to
me.
add that sound effect of like smashing glass.
Sirens.
Cool.
All right, Matt, do you want to go from 10 through to 1 and save the
Yeah.
best for last?
It's actually a pretty good segue from everything we're talking about with Blizzard, because my number 10 favorite game of all time is World of Warcraft.
Hey.
Yeah. So my list I struggled with, because I was like, my favorite games that I'm playing all the time, or are they games that have had like a major impact on me through my life and I have super fond memories of, right? And World of Warcraft isn't number 10 on my list because it's a good game. It's number 10 on my list because I made lifelong friends in World of Warcraft and had a fucking awesome time.
Totally valid. That was pretty my approach too.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, definitely.
I have gone to a friend's wedding over in Ohio because he was one of the people that I ran a guild with in World of Warcraft. Actually, it would be like 15 or 16 years ago now. It's
Jesus.
insane.
Yeah.
But we stay in touch. We still chat, and like our whole guild was so much fun. It was an awesome experience. We were a role-playing PvP guild, and so all of the players that joined the guild had to be good role players, but also kick-ass PvPers. And the way that we approached everything was basically, we're going to go put together fairly sizable raids, go and attack enemy cities. Other role players on the enemy side would actually role play with us because we had, made all these enemies and everything. One of my favorite moments was when they attacked. We had like a stronghold, like we called it our base of operations. In this, where was it? I forget the name of it. Stone Talon. Yeah, Stone Talon Mountains. And basically, God damn it. Basically, like we had caught wind of the fact that the Alliance was sending out an enemy force to attack us. Because we were Horde, because we were playing the right side. And basically, where we caught wind of it, we sent out rogues to stealth and keep an eye on all the entries into Stone Talon, so that we could counter them. And basically, we ambushed our ambushes in this absolutely incredible battle while they were coming through a tunnel. It was awesome. Like one of my favorite moments from that game. But yeah, I'll move on from WoW now.
Yeah, we're going to have to do the 1 or 2 minutes per game, otherwise we're going to go super long.
This one's only going to be brief because I know it's going to be a very unpopular opinion. But my number 9, no, my number 9 is Deus Ex Invisible War, which is the second Deus Ex game. Not the most recent modern one, but actually like the second one that a lot of people hate.
Okay.
But I freaking love. So Invisible War basically was, in my opinion, massively underrated. And it was not a more linear story. It gave you the option to actually play a male or female character compared to the first one. And you were essentially a trainee in this facility. I can't remember if it was a prequel or it was a sequel. Yeah, it was a sequel to the original Deus Ex. But just so much about it, I freaking love. Like, it's one of those games that I can still go back and play start to finish. At the moment, playing through Outer Worlds is actually giving me a lot of Invisible War vibes. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it for that reason. But yeah, Invisible War was cool. Number 8 is a game that I don't think a lot of people have heard of, which is Evil Genius.
Oh yeah.
Which is you've heard of it, Luke.
I've played this game. It is legit.
Yeah, it's so good. So basically, it's a management game where you have your own volcanic evil lair, and you go and build up a facility in which you're going to actually do evil stuff. We lost an Adrian.
That's all right. Keep going.
All right.
Yep.
I'll keep going. Yep. So evil lair. You build your own evil lair. You get attacked by agents of good, essentially. And you have to set up traps to keep them. It's a freaking great game. Ironically, as much as I love it, I've never actually finished it because the later part of the game I found kind of boring. But the starting part of the game is just tons of fun. Building up those facilities is great. Number 7. And this might be surprisingly low on the list, is Destiny 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've put Destiny 2 on the list because I have put a ton of hours into it. And quite honestly, if it weren't for Shadowkeep and the more recent narrative stuff, I would actually not have it as high up the list as it is. It probably wouldn't have even actually made my top 10 if it went for the most recent stuff that came out. But I freaking love Destiny 2. Like, it's great fun. It's for the same reasons as World of Warcraft, like playing with friends. It's just a really cool experience, and I freaking love that. Number 6, and this might be spoilers for end of the year stuff.
Ooh, okay.
My number 6 game of all time is Outer Wilds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Super recent.
So, it's very, very recent. I was actually almost going to put Outer Wilds way higher up the list, but a bunch of other stuff I was like, nah, that has more meaning to me. Outer Wilds is just an amazingly cool, unique, explorative game, and just such a cool experience that, like, I freaking loved every single minute of it. It's this kind of mind-bending narrative that you kind of learn over time. The physics system is amazing. The ending made me cry. It just all around absolutely brilliant game. I cannot recommend it enough for the people that haven't played it yet this year, because I think it's going to be on a lot of game of the year lists. So, number 5, and appropriate, Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Is my number 5. Yep. So I'm not sure Outer Worlds has replaced Fallout New Vegas yet in my top 10. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, but I have so many fond memories of New Vegas, and so much about it. Like, I have this real love of robots, and I kind of, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I could totally trace that love of robots back to Fallout New Vegas and the gigantic boxy Securitrons and helping them to achieve sentience and total freedom from their fleshy masters, which is an awesome narrative in that game. Spoilers for everybody that hasn't played Fallout New Vegas. How old is New Vegas?
Oh, it's
over a decade.
Pretty old. I haven't played it before. Yeah.
It's super good. And it holds up. Like, it's still a massively good game. So 100% recommend it, Luke.
Nice.
Just to jump back, sorry, to Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds? Yeah.
That's a Game Pass game, is it?
Yes,
well?
I believe so.
Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds are both Game Pass?
That's good. That's not confusing at all.
I think they are.
Why do they have to both release this year?
Yeah.
Like, every single time I'm talking about one or the other, I'm like, I enjoy both of these games, and now I've got to not get them mixed up because that sucks. All right, I'm getting into my top 5 now. So,
hey, Adrian's back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
You're on phone.
My computer just died. It's dead.
Oh,
Oh God, not again. Are you
awkward.
serious?
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not turning back on at all.
Well, it did turn back on, and I managed to get it like into Windows, and then it died again. So that's
Well,
considering I just spent $700.
Well, stay on the phone because this actually is working fine, ironically. So
Yeah.
I mean, Seeing as I'm on my phone, I'm going to lie down anyway.
Oh, yeah, nice.
This is amazing. Right? Like, the whole computer dying thing is awful, but for a bit.
All right.
I got to charge my phone anyway, so I'm just going to...
Can you at least do horizontal instead of vertical? Yes, much better.
Well, perfect.
That's way better.
I love
frame.
All right.
Good job.
Sensational.
All right. Number 4, Halo 3 ODST. It is my favorite Halo game.
So he's
glitching out.
God, that's terrible.
I think he's disconnected.
I'm going. I can't take this. I'm going red.
Matt, is Halo 3 ODST or is Halo?
I can't look.
Oh God! All right.
It's Halo 3 ODST. It's technically an expansion to Halo 3. So, yeah. So ODST is a story where you play as not a super soldier. You play as just a standard soldier, like as a spec ops soldier, basically. And it takes place kind of like halfway between Halo 2 and before the ending of Halo 3. And yeah, it's like this noir kind of narrative about, kind of overcoming all of these massively powerful aliens while you're only just a human dude, basically. Really enjoyed that. It kind of the mysterious investigative kind of story going on. Yeah. I'll jump through the next 3 as well while Adrian's face is glitching out. What has happened? Why is everything die on Adrian?
Yeah, we've lost him to the internet. Carry on.
Can you not see or hear me?
No, it's a glitched face of you, and it's so funny.
It's okay.
I'm laughing.
Adrian, you're living your best life online. It's fine.
Check the stream if you can, Adrian. It's hilarious.
Well, you can hear me, but you can't see me.
Correct.
We can hear you. We can see you, but it is just a freeze frame of a really dumb face.
Maybe turn the camera off and on.
Okay. Well, it's on my phone. So.
No, it's vertical.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Go. The audio version of this is going to be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant.
This is terrible.
Go, man.
Yeah. Number 3, Mass Effect 3. So
Ooh.
again, I know
Mass
this is
Effect
one
3?
Controversial.
Mass Effect 3. Yeah. Yeah. Fight me. Yeah. No. The ending's shit. Like, let's be entirely upfront. The ending of Mass Effect 3 is shit. But everything before the ending of Mass Effect 3 is so good. Like, it wraps up a whole bunch of narratives along the way to that really shit ending that I thoroughly enjoyed. It's really a toss-up between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. And I think Mass Effect 3 came out on top just because I think it was a more emotional game for me, like with just these really standout character moments that I really love.
I would pay that. I really did love Mass Effect 3, and I actually did enjoy the ending compared to what a lot of people experience. So I get it. Yeah.
Number 2 is Halo Reach. It's another Halo game.
So that's 2.
I nearly ended out.
So far?
That's 2 Halo games. I nearly ended out with 3 Halo games on my Reach, but I only have 2.
What was 10 to 5? Because I missed all that.
Oh God! Just a couple of minutes on each.
No.
Yeah.
Just name them. What were they?
World of Warcraft, Deus Ex: Invisible War, Evil Genius, Destiny 2, Outer Wilds.
Yeah. I don't have any Reach footage, so I'm just showing some ODST footage again. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's another Halo game. So.
Just for anyone who's watching and going, that's not Reach.
So my favorite Halo games are all the ones that you don't play as the Master Chief in, apparently. So Halo Reach, you play one of the original Spartans, and we've lost Adrian's face again. You play one of the original Spartans, and you're on Reach when all the invasions are happening. You basically get to create and play as your own Spartan in it, and it's just this really, really cool game for it. I thoroughly enjoy the narrative and the fact that you get to actually customize a character that you can play in single player. And
the number 1.
My number one.
I think I know
Hang
what
on.
this is now, and it's surprising to
Can
me, actually.
We should do guesses for the number ones. I think
Yeah,
that's
Well,
Yes.
I'll rule myself out because I'm pretty sure I know what it is based on some info you've given me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
My guess is it's Stellaris.
100% correct.
Yeah.
Yes, my number one game is Stellaris. Because I realized over time I apparently have a thing for sci-fi. And
you don't say.
I have a thing for sci-fi. I love role-playing games. I enjoy strategy. Like, strategy games aren't usually my thing, but it turns out like Stellaris is like the perfect mix of role-playing and strategy that I just freaking love it. And I can just like spend hours creating an empire in Stellaris, then play like 3 to 5 hours of that empire in the game and be like, cool, that was fun, and then walk away and not feel like I have to actually finish the game. But when I have gone and like fell in love with all the empires I've created, it's just been a really, really awesome experience, like start to finish. It's my most played game on Steam. So that's part of the reason why it's at the top of the list and beat out Halo Reach, was because of the fact that it's my most played game on Steam, and I can't ignore that.
Yeah.
So yeah, number one game.
Entirely fair.
Wow.
Nice. It is a good game. I've played a lot of hours of Stellaris
stellar.
myself.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to suggest that we go to Adrian next while we've still got him. So
While his face keeps on glitching out.
that's it. We
Oh my
just need to
God.
hear him. We don't necessarily need to see him. So, Adrian, what's your list of all-time top games? Kick it off, man.
Well, because my computer died, I don't have it in front of me. So I have to remember the order I put them in.
It wasn't on like Google Docs or something.
No, I had a Word document open and it's gone now.
Oh god.
Take a punt, and we'll see how we go. So,
Because Luke, you have the master list, right?
I do, but it's not in order. So,
That's right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure number 10 was Euphoria,
okay.
which was I mentioned. Do you remember when we did our made up games segment for that quiz that we?
Yes,
I
the
described-
Jank or Prank.
Yeah, Jank or Prank. I described a really crazy. Got like the guy's head detaches, and there's a cool ghost who like bonks his eyes out of his head. Hammer.
Yeah, he's got like sunglasses on or something. Yes.
Yeah. So Euphoria is a Japanese game originally called Breaky. It's got like a weird. And the characters were redesigned for like a Western release, and it had like a very small release in apparently Australia to hide it.
Yeah.
But it was my first game I ever played that was Metroid.
Oh.
So, for reasons similar to Matt, my picks are either games that I've played more than once. That was like part of it. Like I went through. Surely, if I've played a game more than once, it must be in my top 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the other one, and then the other one was like if it has had an impact. That being my sort of Metroidvania style game.
Mhm.
So I love that game, and I have played it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it's on the NES. So
Nice. All right, can you recall your number 9? What do you think it was?
I'm pretty sure it was Half-Life.
Okay.
Half-Life 1.
Nice.
Half-Life 1, yeah, and for
Okay.
the same reasons for similar reasons as that game. It really sort of changed perspective on games and like narrative and storytelling. I just remember it had so much atmosphere, and it was particularly special because I remember my parents got divorced when I was 4, and we used to visit Dad every weekend.
Mhm.
And he had a computer at his house, and Half-Life was on that computer at his house. So I only ever got to play it on the weekend. So I would like look forward to the
Nice. All right.
my own place. Half-Life. I'm pretty sure number 8 was Final Fantasy
9?
Final Fantasy 9.
Nice.
And for a similar reason, that Final Fantasy 9 is particularly enjoyable because I first got into Final Fantasy in high school, where I played Final Fantasy 8, and that was like my first proper Final Fantasy game. I didn't even. And then I loved that so much that I got really excited knowing that Fantasy 9 And I remember a family member bringing me back a copy from Bali, and I had a chipped PlayStation, but it was all in Japanese. I got it like heaps early, like way early, but it was fully in Japanese. And I just remember like playing the first 10 minutes over and over, not understanding anything about the story. And like not even really being able to do the battles because it was all in Japanese.
I've had experience with that, with Japanese games like that. That's frustrating as a kid. Yeah.
But I just remember it created this real like sense of wonder and mystery about Final Fantasy. And like the setting, like I just remember it being so bright and crazy and colourful, and it just really blew me away. But I think it was just it really kind of like teased me for a time, and I never really got to play it until like so that's why I really love Final Fantasy 9. And I've replayed it 3 times more than not more.
That was which number? That was 7?
7, I think.
8.
Yeah,
that was number 8.
That was 8. Yeah, we've done 3. So you've done 10, 9, 8. So what's 7?
7 was, don't remember my own list. 7. Warframe. I think it was Warframe.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, I think Warframe is number 7. Although it's fairly new in my life, Warframe holds a very special place for me. I really love Warframe. It's great. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast before, so I probably won't. But yeah, I think it's awesome. Definitely up there because just purely for the amount of hours I've sunk into it. So how can I play a game 400 hours and not say it's
this is true. Yeah.
I like the fact that you've got Warframe in the same slot I had Destiny too.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, except one's better than
No, it's not. Fuck you. One of us has a functioning computer right now, so.
That being said, Adrian, if he wishes, can play Warframe on his Switch, so there is a solution to this.
And I'm sorry, are you doing a live podcast from your bed?
That's true.
Yeah.
So that was number 6. Number 5. I don't know. I can't even remember what the remaining games are.
Maybe.
Let's go back. Let's go to the top, and I'll work my way down.
Okay. All right.
No, that's not good. Should we do that? No.
It's your list, man. You do it any way you want.
I just remembered I've got the list on my phone, which I'm holding.
This is literally a comedy of errors.
Quality.
It is a comedy of errors, technical errors.
Diablo 3. Diablo 3.
Hey, topical.
Diablo 3 because I've played, again, probably next to Warframe and one of the other games on this list, like the most amount. And like I did play Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, but nowhere near as much as 3. I really, really got like deep into the like meta of Diablo to the point where I was like spending heaps of time guides and reading about like, optimizing and getting into like crunching hard numbers, which I've never really done with any other like any other game with numbers in it. Dedicate myself like learning the meta, but Diablo 3
it's good. Super hard on it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
nice. All right, number 4. What do you got?
Number 4. Done that one. Done that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Number 4? Yeah, number 4. Sekiro was number 4.
Nice.
Pretty high up for a recent game.
Sekiro is fucking awesome. Like, like I'm still like every now and then I think about it and I'm like, man, Sekiro. I'm gonna sit up. That's how good it. I think something about the tone and the gameplay and all that. I just really like. I think it just stands out in my mind where like, you know, when you see a movie, like you watch a really good. That movie was so good. I just want
to watch it again and again.
Like, yeah, and like weeks, days, you know, later, you still like really want to watch that. And I could like pick it up and watch it at any time and still enjoy it. I think for me that's I could
sure.
go back and play that, and I don't think there would be a degree of like diminishing returns with that game. I think I'd just like pick it up and play it whenever, because the gameplay is so solid.
Yeah, nice. All right, what are we up to?
Number 3?
I think
Was
so.
that-
3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Binding of Isaac.
Oh,
I was wondering where this was going to be on the list.
I'm actually I'm actually surprised it wasn't higher, but sure, cool.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac is like a sunk. Not as much actually individually, but across both Binding of Isaac games, probably over 400 or 500 hours.
Jeez.
Which, considering like what the game is, that's like a lot of time to sink into.
Yeah.
So, yeah, massive fan of it. And again, it created the drive to play lights in me. So I don't think I've ever really played like a roguelike until I played Binding of Isaac, and that set. So whenever I love the fact that in Binding of Isaac hundreds of, and they all interact. Like it's just like this wizardry.
I'm actually super keen to play it. I've never played it before, so
Oh man, yeah, it's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac. Number 2 is Pokemon.
Hey.
Hey, which Pokemon?
Well, I just put Pokemon because
Hey,
That's cheating.
Well, all right.
If
Well,
if you just say Pokemon, then you must be referring to Red and Blue, surely.
no, actually, if I have to pick one,
Ruby Sapphire.
yes. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
Because they're the first Pokemon that we played together, and not that it's special because you played with me, because I don't think that factored into it. But I just remember you really liking it. So
Yeah, I think it's probably because actually this is definitely the reason. Ruby Sapphire is like the first Pokemon games that I actually own.
Oh,
All the
okay.
other Pokemon games I borrowed and played on like. So I never actually got to own Pokemon until Ruby Sapphire. But I did play all the other ones. I just didn't get to call the Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
All right, and the big one. What are you going to give us for number 1?
Number 1, drum roll. It is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh wow,
Okay.
going old school.
Final
let us
Fantasy.
cling together.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite video game of all time. And even though I haven't played through it as many times as some of the others, probably played through it 3 or 4 times. I just love that game. Love it. And it really introduced me to, I think it was a precursor for getting into things like other games that require sort of top-down strategy
Yeah.
appeal. Like I never really got into RTSs, but I did really get into this. And so for me, there's sort of a party tactics through to like Warhammer, and then on XCOM, and then on to games like Risk, Into the Breach. So any kind of games with that genealogy just really stand.
Yeah, it really was the first one to take off in that kind of vein, wasn't it?
From a tactics point of view, I think there may have been other ones. There's one called Tactics Ogre, which I think.
Oh yeah.
And like Advanced Wars, which may have been before, but
You had Advance Wars and Fire Emblem games, sort of similar-ish.
Yeah.
Might have been a bunch in the Eastern market that never sort of saw their way over here as well, perhaps.
Actually, I think the only last thing I'll say about it is like the big thing I loved about it was the job system, and that really kind of, even before I was into D&D, I had this like this idea in my mind that like heroes and characters in games could be like classes and jobs, and I hadn't seen that before in any video game. So that really kind of lit my interest in things like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
All right.
Odds or evens,
We did
Christian? What are you going to pick?
Odds.
Odds. All right. What do we got?
1 and 3, I guess.
We have a 2, so I guess that's me.
You're
All right. Cool. Alrighty. So my top 10 lists. I'm gonna pop out number 10, a game that I know that Christian and Adrian have played. Because we played this together way back in the day. My number 10 is Neverwinter Nights.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Been on my list.
Yeah, this was a game that really captured my imagination because it has the D&D link. Obviously, it's one of those sort of isometric kind of map battlers with the D&D sort of theme, very similar to your Baldur's Gates and your Divinity Original Sins and that kind of stuff. But this one for me was one of the first ones that really kind of captured me because of the sort of buildability of the world, and I spent more time playing not the game out of the box, but like custom worlds that people that we knew had actually developed. Like there was a guy who used to be a retail customer of ours back when we all worked retail for Games Workshop, who sort of got us into like a local world that had been created by a whole bunch of people in Perth. And I must have sunk hundreds of hours into that world. It was incredible. And I've literally stolen ideas from that for future D&D campaigns now, like decades later. So
nice.
Yeah, the stuff that went on there. But that game is so fun. It is awesome. I've often thought about going back and playing. I'm sure on GOG they've probably got like an up-to-date version of it that actually runs on modern machines. But yeah, Neverwinter Nights is legit. Number 9. You may be surprised this is not higher, but number 9 is year 2016 Doom. For me, yeah,
that does surprise me. That's not higher on the list.
It's a pretty competitive list.
Me too.
Yeah. Look, okay, I will say that it is absolutely number 1 with a bullet, pun intended. As far as my list of top video game soundtracks of all time, it's top of that list for me because Mick Gordon's work on the Doom 2016 soundtrack is second to none as far as I'm concerned. It's exactly my genre of music. It's exactly my kind of sort of atmospheric sort of existential horror that he's blended into all of that stuff. I just love it so much. But the gameplay kicks ass. The way this game's been built has been really clever in the way that it's embraced momentum as kind of the key mechanic, and everything you do sort of makes you feel like you're this godly killing machine that just doesn't stop. And the fact that unlike other shooters, you don't have to reload. You're constantly picking up all the resources you need to survive. You just have to keep on going and going on killing. And they somehow made the Doomslayer a complete silent protagonist to be a really compelling character. I don't know how they achieved that, but holy crap, they did a good job. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they do with his story in Doom Eternal. Like, I'm actually looking forward to the story in Doom Eternal. That's how much I got out of Doom 2016. So, yeah, but a lot of fun. Number 8 on my list is, and I'll specify the original Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
So I do like a lot of the Metal Gear games in the franchise, and I mean, to a certain extent, a bunch of them could be interchangeable on this list. Like I love Snake Eater, Metal Gear 2 as well is fantastic. I was a huge fan of Phantom Pain as well, but I just don't think anything beats the ingenuity and the impact that the first Metal Gear Solid had. Like, it was kind of that first real action movie in a video game experience that I ever had. And some of the weird shit that you remember from that game, like, I mean, everyone knows about the Psycho Mantis boss fight where the guy reads your mind and you literally have to swap your controller port over to controller 2 so that he can't read your mind. Like,
He reads your memory card.
That kind of shit is just so out of this world cool that game just sticks out above the others for me. So yeah, and
the codec written on the box.
Oh yeah. Was it like a special Otacon code or something? I forget.
I can't remember. Yeah, but I just remember him Otacon being like, Snake, the codec's written on the game case, and then you're like, what the hell is going on?
It's so weird. Yeah, but yeah, man, that game's good, and the characters are super compelling too. So I loved it. Number 7 for me is a real nostalgia pick for me, and I haven't played this one for about 4 years, so I don't know how it holds up now. But the last time I played it was still pretty fun, and I have very fond memories of this being one of the first really difficult games that I faced, and I got a lot out of it for that reason, and that is Battletoads. So
nice.
Original Battletoads. This game is brutally hard. I loved it. So the 3 sort of titular toads are Rash, Zitz, and Pimple. So Pimple's not actually one of the playable characters in this game. They did like a remake of it later, which he is, but pretty much just Rash and Zitz because they have the same character sort of size. Essentially, they didn't have to remodel it too severely for them. So yeah, you're basically going through a whole bunch of different platform levels, and some of them are really hard difficulty puzzles or races, and the precision sort of sensitivity on the controls that you need to exercise to play this thing was out of this world at the time. It was so freaking hard. And as a kid sort of getting into some, serious hours on console games and really wanting to push my skill, this one really hit the nail on the head for me at the time. So, yeah.
I never got past the snake level.
The snake level was tough. The toughest level for a lot of people was the second race
bikes?
level. No, the bikes were
Yeah.
hard, but the second one where you're in like an aircraft and you have to sort of fly through these electric zap sort of lines, that was ridiculously difficult. So there's always like one gotcha at each of those race courses right at the end that just kills you every time. So
One of my defining memories with Battletoads is it causing lots of fights with my brothers because it was like a co-op game, but you could hit each other, and that just we would just beat the crap out of each other and get into all sorts of arguments.
yeah, it's
The
good
theme
fun
is-
brawler.
I've never actually played the game, but the theme gets stuck in my head.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
The pause music gets stuck in my head.
yeah.
Oh, the
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pause music.
yeah, it's good. That all being said, I held out zero hope of the reboot being any good. I think it's going to be hot
No.
garbage.
It looks like garbage.
Sadly, so yeah.
It'd be great.
I don't think so. But that brings me to a game that is most certainly not hot garbage, and it's one of the more recent ones on my list. And my number 6 is God of War.
Oh yeah.
God of War 2018.
That's it. Yep, it's from last year. I freaking love this game. This one had a really big impact on me, not just from the story and cinematic perspective, but just the father-son stuff that is weaved into that story with regards to Kratos' development as a character, and the way that there is a definitive progression in terms of his relationship with his son that plays out during the game that I think is really awesome. It's not like they start out and don't evolve until the end. It really is ongoing. And I mean, the conversational sort of stuff in the game, like the dialogue you get from even Mimir, the head that you pick up at some point and he sort of, gets carried around with you, is just unreal. The boss fights are really excellent mechanically. They've got the really cool stuff around the no camera cuts transitions between scenes by having smooth animation sort of blended in with you pushing through rocks or whatever. Just really clever the way they built it. But holy crap, I love that game. It's just I could replay it infinitely. It's really, really good. So I think I'm probably going to pull it out next year and run through it again, I think. So number 5 for me, similar kind of game, but one that pips it just slightly in terms of impact for story, I think, is the and I have to say original now, the Last of Us.
Okay.
So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I played the remastered version first, so I missed out on playing it on PS3, so I played it on early PS4, and I thankfully didn't have any of the story spoiled for me, which I think is a real
That's good.
danger at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got all the impact and all the feels early on in that game, and I just loved it mechanically as well. I think it's one of those rare games where the multiplayer version of like a heavy narrative game was actually really fun too. But the characters were excellently written, brilliantly acted, and I'm really pumped for the sequel. I think it's going to kick ass. So, yeah. Number 4 on the list is your old favorite, Minecraft. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I've spent an ungodly number of hours in this game. So, and I think given how many years old it is and the fact that it's still having updates each year that really hit the mark and add some really cool stuff, like the stuff they've done in the most recent couple of years, like with the aquatic update and the village and pillage stuff with all of the new raiders and things, just so good. Like this game is amazing. You can do almost anything in it. So yeah, I've sunk deep into the redstone hole, sort of doing all the electronics type stuff and building like bizarre contraptions and I mean, all of the story-based sort of stuff that people have done as like separate mods and things, I think is just phenomenal. Just the infinitely sort of moddable and creator kind of focused circles that have gathered around it, I think just make it a really exceptional special game. So,
Yeah.
and it's a good reason why it's one of the highest selling, if not the highest selling game of all time.
It is the highest selling game of all
The
time.
highest selling, yeah. It's always going to be between that and one other game, which also happens to be my number 3. So my number 3 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Kind of similar reason. Like I find that GTA 5, like a lot of people rubbish on the campaign a little bit, and sort of consider GTA 5 to be pretty much GTA Online. But for me, it's both. Like I actually love the campaign. I loved all 3 of the main characters in it. Yeah, there was definitely some cringe moments, but I mean, for the most part, it didn't take itself too seriously. I thought the story was compelling and interesting, and the stuff that came to the game afterwards, when it just became this colossal online juggernaut, I think is really what it's about. So, it's a sandbox for insane levels of mischief. It's basically
honestly.
what it is.
The narrative stuff, I actually thought the single play was great. Like, I thought it was really cool.
I liked Michael, but I didn't like the others.
Okay, yeah. No,
they were not meant to be likable.
I hated Trevor. I know he's supposed to be like a controversial and hateable character, but it just annoyed me.
Yeah, it's like Rockstar does interesting things sometimes, and like it was a really cool, like, hey, look at all this toxic masculinity, right?
Oh, totally.
Like, these guys are fucked up. You should not be like this. But yeah, I think that's what people will take away from it, but that's what I took away from it. So.
Well, they did a smart thing with Trevor too, where they didn't introduce him immediately. Like, the game was a 2-character game for probably a good third of it until you actually meet the third one. I think that pacing was actually really good too. So, but yeah, no, it's a sensational game. I love it. All right, so my number 2 is Mass Effect 2. It is that high on the list for me. No, we're not going to fight because I like your choice too. Like, I love Mass Effect 3 as well, but only one of them can make it on my list, and it is this high because, the cast of characters in Mass Effect 2 is out of this freaking world. Like, it is just so good. Like, what they managed to do with every single one of them, to the point that when you go through, I mean, this is going to be spoilers for anyone who hasn't played Mass Effect 2, so if you care about that, please don't listen for a minute. But the final sort of run in this game, like the final mission, you have real chances of some of, if not, many of the characters that you take on that mission not actually surviving. And because the nature of the games is that the characters carry on between games if you link your save files together, if you lose characters at the final mission of Mass Effect 2, you don't get them again in Mass Effect 3. So there's some real sort of stakes there. There's real consequences. Yeah. And you become so attached to these people that you just don't want to have that happen. So... Just the whole narrative of, like, going against the government to try and do the right thing by working for pretty transparently evil people is fucking awesome. Oh, the switch around at the beginning.
Really cool.
Yeah. That's it. Like, and that's the other thing that really made me love that game. There's some real moments where things just changed completely, and you're just like, what the hell? Like, there's a scene later on where like a disabled character, if you play the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about, basically gets stuck in a situation where you have to flee like an area that's being destroyed, and you have to literally drag yourself around because you can't walk. And it's this really tense kind of scene, and I love how it was executed. It was absolutely fantastic. So, yeah. And my number 1 is no surprise to you guys because you already know what it is, and I'm sure that anyone who's listened to the show for any length of time also knows what it is. And I am wearing the motherfucker tonight. So
nice.
It is, of course, Super Metroid, which is not only my favorite, but also the greatest game ever made. So, no, honestly,
sure.
Super Metroid is so freaking good. It is one of the very few games that I would flat out consider to be perfect. I don't think it needs to be changed or sort of updated at all. I actually still play this game once every couple of years without fail, and it holds up every single time. I can't get enough of it. Just every single aspect of it, the soundtrack, the boss fights, the different sort of levels, and the areas of the sort of subterranean kind of game that you go through, all the themes and the creatures. I love it. Like, Samus, for me, is one of those original kind of silent protagonists too that they actually did some really interesting things with. And I think that maybe I read into it a little bit more than most people because I've played a bunch of the other Metroid games and I know a bit more about her evolution as a character and how she develops. But I think she's really cool and interesting. And as a kid playing that game, she was also one of the first sort of big female protagonists in a game as well. And I thought that was really awesome at the time too. That had like a special sort of place for me because of that. So, but yeah, I just freaking love it. And, Super Metroid's one of those games you see appear in a lot of people's top 10 lists, and there's a good reason for it because it's fucking awesome. So, yeah.
Spoiler alert for my list, Super Metroid's not on it, but I do think that Super Metroid is a perfect game, as you say, and the only reason it's not on my list is because I actually only watched my brother play it as a kid, and then I played it later in life, but I didn't have the experience of playing it as a kid, so it didn't make my list.
That's fair. I mean, perfect game doesn't have to be your favorite game either.
No.
So,
no.
Yeah. All right, speaking of your list, Christian.
That's right. Let's roll.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just quickly interrupt because we missed my number 2?
Oh.
Did we?
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to say it. It was
Did you
Mega Man
flush?
3.
Did you?
Oh, no, we did miss that. Yeah,
yeah.
you're quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say it just quickly. Mega Man 3, it's awesome, and I love Mega Man. I have lots of Mega Man toys all over my house. That's
Mega Man 3 is the best Mega Man game. That's I said that because it's the only one I played as a kid.
Yeah. I've played a lot of
I just
them.
wanted to get that in there.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Objectively the best because I played it.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Okay, so my number 10 is Journey.
Oh.
Yeah,
good
so
choice.
Journey is the first game I remember playing that I played it and I immediately felt afterwards like this is art. Like this is games can be an art piece. Like now.
You got me onto this game at the first PAX Australia, actually. You told me about it there, and I went and played it immediately afterwards, and I agree, this game is something special.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's something special about this. I played it all in one sitting. I didn't know ahead of time about the multiplayer aspects. So I got that nice organic experience of getting to the second area and then seeing another player and then doing the little twinkle twinkle noises and then they're responding and being like, oh my God, that's another person.
Yeah.
And then playing through the entire thing in one sitting. It's this beautiful, rising crescendo of emotions as you get towards the peak of the mountain that you're heading towards in your journey. And then, at the end, what it shows you at the end, and then the sort of coming to terms with the theme at the end of what the journey represents, and to me, it and I think a lot of people, it represents it's life. It's life and death and rebirth, and the journey is what matters. And it's a game that's the themes really struck a nerve with me, I just loved Journey so much. It definitely left a big impact on me.
The original Strand game.
The original
kind of is, yeah.
Pretty much.
You're not wrong.
Not wrong. My number 9 game is Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh, good choice.
So yeah,
I did play it.
Most of the games on my list are the games that they have a unique kind of magic to them. They came at a certain point in my life, or they were the first time I experienced something. And for Baldur's Gate 2, it was the expansive open-endedness of Baldur's Gate just blew my mind when I played it. The thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue that every character, all your party members have. The fact that you have relationships with each party member and they have relationships with each other, like likes and dislikes, and that your characters have alignments, and that the characters can die, and the world's full of side quests. It was the first game with all of those things that I can really remember, and it blew me away. I almost couldn't believe it was a video game because it seemed so alive to me, and it was really special.
Nice.
Number 8 is probably an unexpected one because I don't think I've ever mentioned this game on the podcast before, and it's Heroes of Might and Magic 2.
Oh, nice. I don't think you have, but I have a feeling that maybe Imogen did a while back.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that we've talked about at some point.
Heroes of Might and Magic 2 was I played this game with my friends in high school so much. We would have sleepovers and parties where we would all gather around and play hot seat multiplayer. You could have up to 8 players hot seat. I think we'd usually play with 6 or 7, and we would basically have a party and then just be taking turns, rotating, playing, having our turn, and then just going off and chatting and playing other games. We were playing GoldenEye at the same time, that sort of thing. But in the background, we'd have Heroes of Might and Magic 2 going. I loved the sorceress class. I loved getting my phoenixes and my druids and elven archers, and there's just so many hours and so many good memories with my high school friends playing Heroes of Might and Magic 2. So it was really special to me.
Yeah, nice.
Another game that I played around the same time, a couple of years later, is my number 7. That's Rome Total War.
Good choice. Way better than number 2. Way better.
Yes, way better than number 2. The Rome Total War, I would lock myself in my bedroom for just hours and hours on end, just going turn after turn after turn, going through all the different campaigns, and it was incredible. I love history. I'm a huge history fan, so playing Rome Total War just blew my mind, and the graphics were really impressive for the time, and having so many figures in a battle at one time, was really cool and intense to watch. And it was the first game that I modded as well. I didn't create mods myself, but the first that I installed mods on. There was a mod project called Rome Total Realism, and the idea was to make it, as historically accurate as possible. So it did things that I really enjoyed, which like the color palette of the game, it like toned it right down, because the way they designed it, every faction had a bright, distinct color, so you could tell them apart. But they muted all the colors and made it sort of like grimier looking. And they took out some of the more like fantastical units, and they added some extras in that were more accurate. And just the overhaul to make it like this Rome Total Realism, I just was so into that, and I just got hundreds of hours out of it. So yeah,
solid.
Number 6 is Half-Life 1.
Oh,
and
Half-Life 1.
I had an uncannily similar experience to Adrian with the circumstances in which I played this, which was my mum and dad divorced when I was a kid, and then at one point my mum had to go fly back to England, where my family came from for a family emergency, and I had to stay with my dad for some time that we hadn't expected. So I had to come along with him to his work at an office job because he couldn't take the time off, and so he had this laptop in his office, and it had Half-Life on it, and so I would just go in there, and then while he was working all day, I would just sit in the corner playing Half-Life on this laptop, and that was the only time I could play it. And that game, like,
Are we brothers?
I don't know. It's uncannily similar, isn't it?
I've often considered this.
Yeah, but the opening sequence, right, of coming in on the monorail and then getting to work, and then having the scientists being like, "Hello, Freeman," and like, that was just like, what? This is amazing. Like, every other first-person shooter I played was like Duke Nukem or Doom or something, and it was just like, here's a gun, go shoot some things. And this one, it's like, I'm arriving to work, I have a job to do, and then I had to like push this experimental thing into this reactor, and then when the experiment goes wrong, and then like there's all these flashes of the aliens and everything. It was so atmospheric and so like creepy.
It scared the shit out of me.
It scared the shit out of me. Like, where you're surrounded by the Vortigons, whatever they're called. It was amazing. And so yeah, from like a narrative standpoint and like an immersive first person standpoint, Half-Life 1 was just so good. So good.
The guy that did Stick Shift, the game where you have sexual relations with the car, he actually did like a massive Twitch stream breaking down Half-Life 1. And I 100% recommend it. It's actually a really fascinating deep dive into like the little narrative details and such. Like, there's things that they did in that game to really make you feel like this is a government workplace. Like the fact the tram is wheelchair accessible.
Oh, right.
Like a great little detail, right? Like, it's a government facility, and they've got to beat a code.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and when the Black Ops show up and they're another like opposing force, that was crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Great game. My number 5 is Mass Effect 2.
Nice.
2 against.
So I'm on Team Mass Effect 2. The cast of characters in that game was like, the sense of camaraderie and like attachment to those characters just unparalleled. Like, it's so, and like the just hanging out on the Normandy and just chilling in your room and going to talk to everybody and doing their Paragon missions, and like Garrus he's one of my favorite characters of all time. Like it feels like I love Garrus. I have.
Christian is responsible for the majority of sexual depictions of Garrus.
I would own that happily if that were true. I'd have no problem with that. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, like it was like a perfect space opera. It was like my Star Wars. It was like playing a Star Wars or playing like a Star Trek Next Generation or something. It was so immersive. The world building is incredible, and just the tone and the whole elusive man thing was kind of this X-Files like a cigarette smoking man vibe, and it was just so good. Yeah, loved Half-Life 2, and I played that game. It's one of the games I've replayed the most. I think I've replayed that like
Mass Effect 2. You said Half-Life 2, but I know what you mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Funnily enough, Half-Life 2, I didn't actually care for that much.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. My number 4 game is Nier Automata.
Oh.
One of them Automata.
Automatic Tomatoes.
Yeah, or tomato. Yeah.
One of the more recent games on my list, possibly the most recent. I love the art direction in this game. It's got the platinum designed combat. Another game that I love for the themes. This is a game that you can watch hours and hours of video essays on YouTube of people breaking down the political and sociological and psychological themes in this game, and it can verge on a bit of a wank sometimes, but I love all that stuff. And the structure of the game, how it's organized into these different routes that you play through, and some of them are parallel, and some of them take the storyline further. And there's surprises and just like the twists in the story and the different perspectives it shows you. Just all around, love that game. And also the music, one of the best soundtracks of all time. I love the music, and yeah, it's just so good. So good.
I have listened to it. It is very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Persona 4 The Golden. So this was the first Persona game I played, and in a similar way to Mass Effect 2, it's all about the characters for me in this game. So you're in like you get sent to this rural high school in Japan, and and then you make friends with a bunch of misfits, and then you delve inside their psyches, and like you spend a lot of time talking to their characters and learning about their insecurities. It's all about like aspects of your own personality that people aren't comfortable with or don't really want to confront, and then you like literally and figuratively confront parts of yourself that you need to come to terms with, and it does it for all the different characters, and I love it. One character in particular, Kanji, and his whole thing is he's this big tough guy, but he loves cute things as well. He loves like sewing little cute like plush toys, and he's this tough guy, but he has this like he doesn't buy into like toxic masculinity, and he wants to be able to embrace the fun, cute things that he likes, but he's worried that people will perceive him as gay for that, and so there's a bit of a sexuality thing. Like he's not homophobic, but he doesn't want people to misunderstand him, and he just feels like he'd be more like outcast if he were more open about this kind of stuff that he likes.
Seems like a theme that's a bit ahead of its time, maybe given when it came out.
Yeah,
yeah, a bit ahead of its time, and also like some people criticize it, and some people say, "Oh, he should have actually been gay, and that would have been more progressive." And I'm like, yeah, maybe okay, but that's like it was good for what it was, and it doesn't need to hit every progressive button to be amazing
For sure.
So yeah, Persona 4, loved it. What am I up to? Oh yes, number 2 is Mario 64.
Whoa.
Yeah, number 2. So
I can say that.
Yep, Mario 64.
classic.
It's an absolute classic. It is the first game with that full 3D movement that I ever played. The feeling of not just getting control of Mario, but specifically in the first world where you can ride the Koopa shell around, like surf the Koopa shell. I spent like probably hours just surfing that Koopa shell around, going all the way up the Bob-omb mountain and like jumping off. And it felt so cool to surf around. There was nothing like it. That 3D movement at that quality anyway. And yeah, finding all the different secrets in the castle and getting like the wing cap and the metal cap, and it was just so really special game to me. And the Nintendo 64 was the first home console that I owned, and so there's another feeling there of this being like special to me because it was mine as opposed to my older brothers.
I totally regret not putting that on my list now. Like, I could totally rationale removing one. Mario 64.
It's an honorary mention on your list then.
Yeah,
It's interesting because like it would be on my list too, but I almost love it more as a developer rather than as a gamer.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because like it's one of those games where it's like it just defined so much about the way the industry would work moving forward, especially like it defined third person like action platforming game. So like I love it for that reason, but it makes it hard to actually have fond memories of it, even though I played the shit out of it as a kid. Yeah, it's interesting.
Nice.
All right, and that leads me to my number 1 game.
Ooh.
And my favorite game of all time is.
I think I know what it is, and I think that you wear stuff to do with it.
I do, but not at the moment. I'm wearing a Monster Hunter shirt. That didn't make the cut.
No.
It's Pokemon Red and Blue. Pokemon Gen 1.
Nice.
Yay!
And I debated for a long time whether or not this would take the number one spot. And just thinking back on my memories of playing the game, it had to be number one. So I was that kid with the Game Boy who would just be in my bed like for hours and hours and hours, staying up way later than my bedtime, just playing Pokemon with the lamp on, playing it in the car where you're trying to get the light to be right because it had no backlight on the OG Game Boy. And it felt really like it's a magical game, and sharing it with my friends as well. My friends in school were playing it at the same time, and even like Generation 1 Pokemon, it's hard to imagine now there was a time when I didn't know what they all were and they were new, and we would be talking about discovering Pokemon for the first time. And I remember like one kid brought like a poster to school that had all 151 Pokemon on it, and none of us had ever seen what the heck Mew was, and like we were all trying to find it in the game, and we bought into like the push the truck with strength after the SS leaves. Like we all thought that you must be able to get Mew that way. And we were trying the Missingno, surfing up and down Cinnabar Island.
Mm-hmm. Well, you would have relied on game magazines for a lot of your info back then, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Yeah. All game magazines and schoolyard hearsay, and just like talking to people and then say, oh, like that Missingno thing, the fact that you could like find Missingno. There were kids at school saying, oh yeah, I was doing that and I found this Pokemon and it was like an alien and it had like swords on it. And I'm like, oh my God. But of course it was all bullshit.
It was mysterious. Like it was from a different era, right? Like you didn't have the internet to kind of like spoil all the fun by taking all the mystery out of something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then it was an Australia Day that I had like a family like fireworks party thing. And there was like some extended family member that I've never even seen again. And he had his Game Boy there, and he'd been to America and he'd done some event in America where they'd given him Mew. And that was the first time I ever saw Mew. And that was like, that blew my mind that this kid had Mew. I was like, how the did you get Mew?
Yeah.
And yeah, so just all of that sort of stuff.
And
of
then
like,
you killed him and took it.
That I killed him and took his Game Boy. I'm in jail. You can't see my ankle bracelet, but permanent house arrest.
Mm-hmm. Worth it. Yeah, 100% worth it.
Worth it. But so, from Generation 1 onwards, Pokemon has always been special to me. I've loved every single generation. And yeah, Pokemon just has a really special place in my heart. So Red and Blue, OG.
Good choice.
I want you guys to know, obviously I will not say a single word, but I looked at the entire Sword and
Yeah. I don't want to know anything. I won't, but I looked at all of it, and it was hard, but I made the decision.
So
that's fine.
This is the Sword and Shield list you're talking about. The
Pokedex.
Yeah. That may be a discussion for another day because that's coming up real soon too. I think that's out on the 15th of this month, I want to say. That's like next week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's next week. So Mass Effect was the game that had the most crossover with us, I believe.
Yeah.
We had
2 with Half-Life and 2 with Mass Effect 2, and Matt, you had Mass Effect 3. So yeah, I guess Mass Effect probably.
And two with Pokemon, yeah. That was about it. Not a lot of crossover.
No, we all had very unique lists at the end of the day. Which is
we're all unique snowflakes.
We are all unique in our own special ways. I did see a lot of crossover, like we all are RPG fans. Like every single one of us loves RPGs apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Skyrim nearly made the cut for me, but that just had to go.
Oh, really?
We could get into our nearlies, but I won't.
Yeah. That's another hour.
I know one person who might catch the show tonight. They'll be very disappointed to see no Zelda games on the list, but
that was tough for me as well.
Yeah. Again, for me, it was close, but no cigar on that front. So
Majora's Mask was like pushed down to 12 on my list.
Twilight Princess for me.
Yeah.
Nope. Nice. Well, I think, gentlemen, that is a great list of games, and that is also a great show. So
we managed to make it.
We did it, yeah.
Despite massive technical issues.
Bit of duct tape and a lot of love, but we got there in the end. No, this has been good.
Survive.
Yeah, Adrian, you've done well. You stuck in there.
Thanks for sticking in.
Your sad little egg emoji and all.
It's appropriate.
Absolutely.
I'm tired from holding up my...
All right. Well, anyway, we've run super long. This might actually be our longest episode yet, but I mean, it's episode 200, so it's only fitting. So
Appropriate.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, hopefully everybody who's caught the show live or happens to catch us on VOD later has enjoyed the program. And of course, this is the plan from this point onwards. So we'll be back again at the same time next week for another live show on Twitch. So you can catch us, of course, at twitch.tv/partyloaded. And make sure you hit us at all of our other socials as well. So you'll see show updates posted most frequently on our Twitter at PartyLoaded Show. Head over to Facebook and check out facebook.com/PartyLoaded, and all of our VODs and video content goes up on youtube.com/channelendgame and channelendgame.com for pretty much everything on the hub. But that's it. So we've got new games still coming out. I'm going to be picking up Death Stranding at the end of the week to check that out and hopefully chat about next week. So looking forward to that. Yeah. We've got Pokemon on the horizon. We've got Jedi stuff coming up. Still plenty of games left this year to talk about. So next few weeks should be interesting.
I haven't read any Death Stranding reviews, but I've seen a little bit of chatter that it's controversial. So I'm almost hoping I don't like it so that I'll be done with it in time for Pokemon.
We will see. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if all four of us played it, and I know that's not going to happen. But I suspect that if all four of us did, we'd probably have quite a varied discussion about it, is what the impression I'm getting.
We'll save it for next week.
Absolutely, yeah. Cool, all right. Well, anyway, thanks, Christian, thanks, Matt, and thanks, Adrian, hanging on there. You did pretty good.
Thanks, anybody, for watching or listening.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And hopefully we'll see you same time again next week. But until then, tonight, that's a great way to end. Good night.
It is a great way to end. Good night, gang.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.